Throughout history, people have made amazing accomplishments that define themselves. Now, it's our turn to tell those accomplishments, to tell his story, her story, their story, and even your story. With Mike Wexler.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Your Story. We appreciate you coming on. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anything on your podcast platforms, there's a lot of them. I appreciate that. Make sure you hit subscribe as well. If you're physically watching on YouTube, your eyes are looking at me and my guest right here. That'd be awesome as well. Maybe hit subscribe as you do that as well. I have a very, and I say this very confidently, legendary guest. I have been a fan of them for so long. Whenever it came to MPW, when it came to just, their personality is phenomenal. Congratulations once again on becoming a two-time MPW world champion. But not only that, such a great personality and such a great person that we finally got an episode for Your Story with this person. So without further ado, the one, the only Barbie Boi. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you? That was so nice. Oh my God. I can live up to all those things.
I appreciate you getting on the podcast, being a part of this conversation. It's really awesome that we finally got to do this because I remember we had met at Black Friday for MPW back in, oh my gosh, I believe it was the day after Thanksgiving. So It was really cool to finally get to meet in person and really get a conversation that time.
Yeah, that felt like so long ago now.
Well, I mean, it was kind of cool because I got to first see you with Millennium Pro Wrestling over at the little pool parties that you guys had. It was cool to finally get a good introduction to you.
Yeah, God, that felt like forever ago as well. The little fun pool party and my little Barbie crop top and my little pink visor on.
But no, that was cool. You got. Did you say that again?
I remember just tanning with my shirt on.
Oh man, I remember that so much because Jamie Lynn Senegal, by the way, shout out to Jamie. She's gonna be on the podcast as well. She had made a splash during your interview with Sam Laterna, and that was cool because it was like a kind of a preview of hopefully what's to come. Hopefully we do see that match. Hopefully one of these days.
Hopefully, I would love that. We would have so much fun. So much fun.
So the first thing I do want to start off first is kind of like that typical podcast question, but shout out to Justin of the Wrestling Classic for this question. What was your earliest memories of professional wrestling?
God, my earliest memory would probably be in 2002 is when I really started watching it every week with my dad and just watching Raw and SmackDown just every week. All my brothers were really into it and my dad was always into it. So then I started watching it when I was about 8 or 9. And from there, I watched it every week, never missed one, and just watched all the pay-per-views every month. And yeah, just really enjoying it and being so invested into everything that was going on. I was so in awe of everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely that was a good year to start too. They had some great moments in there as well.
Yeah, I was definitely 2002, maybe late 2001, but definitely around that era.
Man, that was a really interesting era too, because that at that point, if I remember correctly, 2001, the XFL was going off. We all know how that went at that time. Oh, yeah. and then the invasion angle too, which sadly that didn't really happen anything else after that. So
yeah, I think it came in right after that, from when I remember as a kid watching it. I think I just was right after that moment.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting times. One of the interesting times I do want to talk about first is the fact that, once again, as we mentioned earlier, congratulations on becoming a two-time MPW world champion. What was it like finally holding that world title the first time around?
The first time, that was such an emotional day. When I watch it back, I'm already almost crying just in general. So once I won that belt, I think I just cried for so long. It was something that I just never expected to happen, I guess, watching wrestling growing up and then winning a belt later on in life. It was such a great moment, and having my friends and family there, and just the crowd was so hot that night that it was such a great moment, I guess, with the reactions that we got. So it was overall so emotional, and I will never forget that day for sure.
No, it was such a special moment. I mean, I remember seeing that event, and it was awesome finally getting that moment. You became MPW World Champion. It was really special because it really felt like that was a moment that you earned and deserved. So we want to say congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really sweet. Thank you. I really mean that.
So one of the other things I do want to mention as well is, when it comes to Barbie Boi, they have a very extraordinary presence every time they enter an arena. Of course, how could you not be Barbie Boi without the song Barbie in there?
Yeah.
Has that been a favorite song of yours growing up? Like, what was the inspiration for that song?
Yeah, I mean, I've loved that song. I'm a huge fan of Barbie just in general. I think that's where the stem of it really came from. And when I wanted to be Barbie Boi, I was like, why go for it? I love Barbie so much. I'm just going to go for it. And then I was, there's no better song choice than Barbie Girl by Aqua. And I knew that that song alone would get such a reaction because it's so unexpected that like the fans would have no idea what's coming out of that curtain.
Yeah.
I think that's
Nice.
the best part. They made think to see like a blonde girl come out, but then it's me. And I think that's way more exciting. I am blonde sometimes. My hair can't take the damage that much, but
no, that's cool. I mean, I do remember the blonde as well. Whether it's blonde, regular, natural hair. I mean, Barbie Boi really rocks anything that they do.
I think so. Barbie can be anything. So I definitely try to follow that motto just like she does.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to, really see your career thrive. Let's talk about MPW again really quick because like that whole school is phenomenal. I got to talk to Aunt Heidi recently, so shout out to her. Really one of those students that I'm gonna see like have a big future this year. As well as Barbie Boi. Don't forget about that. They're gonna have a huge year as well. But talk about really working with Ray Rosas and Danny Devine, Brendan Devine, everybody over there at MPW, because I feel like that school really lays the foundation of making wrestling fun, and not only that, but really giving the keys to being successful in the wrestling business.
Yeah, I mean, Millennium Pro Wrestling is such an amazing home and safe place to wrestle and train at, and we get to perform every week, and we're very lucky to say that. Working with like Ray and the brothers, working with Ray has been phenomenal. I remember being so nervous when I first got there, and meeting Ray, I was so scared, and I'm very bubbly and sweet, but like in wrestling, I'm kind of like, oh no, like I don't know what to say to them. I'm like, I just try to be very sweet, but he was so amazing from the start and has really helped me so much from the beginning because he knew what my weaknesses were, but he also knew what my strengths were. So working with Ray has been great throughout this whole time. And I think having that match with him finally last year was such a great moment. I think it was something that I was been waiting for a long time. We never had a match with each other. So having that was great. He's amazing. It's Ray Rosas. But also the brothers, Danny and Brendan have been my rock pretty much throughout MPW. They were there for me from the start. My first class there was with Danny and Brendan. And from that moment on, we've had such a bond that I am so grateful for. And they definitely know how much they mean to me. I mean, when I won the belt, they were the first ones to come in that ring and give me a hug. So they have definitely been like there for me through everything outside of wrestling and in the wrestling ring. And so without them, honestly, like I would not be where I'm at today.
No, that's awesome. You're getting that, you're getting that knowledge, but not only that, you're getting that it's family. You know what I mean? The love, the support. And I can really feel that and see that whenever I see an MPW event.
Yeah, which is great. And I'm really happy that like the fans can feel that too, that we try to create a second home for everybody.
Oh yeah, especially with the pandemic, I felt like MPW really gave that that kind of love and positivity for wrestling fans. You know what I mean? Showcasing the future of professional wrestling. Of course, you have, the MPW World Champion and Barbie Boi. You have like Dustin Daniels and Busio Full Send, and you have so much. Even its women's division is really growing as well. You have, like we mentioned before, off the air, we mentioned Johnny Robbie, Milo, Aunt Heidi, and so many other people that are coming up that really has a great mixture of being also, for family, but also, like really showcasing the future of professional wrestling.
Yeah, and I think once that came back, like from the pandemic, I think all of us worked 10 times harder to bring back and do everything that we missed and loved so much. And I remember the return show was such a crazy moment for all of us to be like, oh wow, we're back now. I think it was a year because our last show I think was at the beginning of March, and then we didn't come back until the end of April the following year.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think our return show was April 30th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So like being gone for a year, was such a crazy, so weird to come back and then see fans like in person again, and then actually be wrestling again was such a weird, amazing experience.
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome to see, again, have that energy of the crowd and really just, have that consistency, of course. But one thing I do want to mention too is that, when it comes to Barbie Boy's career, and then starting with the training and getting to work with all these phenomenal people, where in you like, I guess what I'm trying to ask is like where, if you could go back to like yourself at your beginning of your career, beginning of your wrestling career to now, what would you tell that person today?
If I could go back to my first day,
Yeah.
I would say, God, have way more confidence in yourself because you're definitely way more than capable of doing it. And go to people that you trust and like just be a little bit more strong-willed. I think for a while I was just kind of always like silent and just kind of in shock of everything that was going on and kind of timid. So I guess overall just be more confident because you're definitely capable of doing it, and then just show everyone what you can do.
Oh yeah, like we definitely see that when it comes to Barbie Boy, and we hope that we're going to see a lot of more championships in the future, hopefully for other companies. Speaking about again Barbie Boy's career, one of the things that I've noticed too is how much you have connections with the fans, and that's what I feel like as a broadcaster myself and as a fan, we feel that, we see that when it comes to wrestlers that really connect with their fans. You have a fan base that is so loving and that is so supportive that it is very influential to everyone. I remember, like I said, I'm going to keep mentioning Black Friday, by the way, so I do apologize. They're like, why does he keep mentioning that? So, because that's the only show that I went to, sadly. But like, I felt that connection when you made that entrance. And you can really see it, whether that's for the little kids, whether that's through the grown adults, teenagers, all ages really had that connection whenever you made that entrance, and even after a match, during a match, whatever the case may be. So how do you feel about having that special connection with the fans?
God, it is so crazy. I am so shocked by it sometimes, but it means the world to me every time I come out to any place that I wrestle at and I get a reaction and the fans really do enjoy me and love me, and I always make sure they know that I love them back. That was always very important to me, is that I wrestle for the fans. Obviously I wrestle for myself too, but for the fans, like that's what I'm there. That's why I put my body on the line every week, is for the fans and to entertain, and I want to make sure they know that I love them. So I always talk to everyone after every show. I make sure I talk to everyone and hug everyone and have a good time, because I was a fan too. You want that special connection. And I think I am a different kind of character that different people can connect to in different ways. So I always wanted to make sure that everyone felt welcomed by me. And so I'm always still kind of emotional about it. I still always kind of in shock about it, but it really means a lot to me, more than I think they know, that I get that kind of reaction, or they message me privately about certain things or anything like that. It really does mean a lot to me.
Oh yeah, when you have that positive influence, and like you had mentioned before about being open, really being, that open space for fans. It's really awesome to really get that connection, as we mentioned before.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome too, because like I feel like now, independent wrestling is really, really, really hot right now.
Yeah.
And it's like the place where wrestling fans don't have to pay $500 for the worst seats in the house. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You
They
can
can pay only $15 and go over to Chatsworth and go watch, MPW every single Friday. You know what I mean? Like it's awesome that really times have changed for the better.
Yeah, it totally has. And we're very lucky at MPW to have a show every Friday. I know some promotions are only like once a month or something like that, which is also still great that they still get to do those big shows. Um, I love that we get to tell stories. Every Friday, we have it's every Friday, you know, so it's like we get to have fun. We get to wrestle every Friday and get to tell stories, and we get a lot of the same fans, but I love when we see new fans come in and it makes them wanting more to see what's going to happen next week. Like they never want to miss a week.
Oh yeah, like you definitely don't want to miss the action when it comes to MPW. Funny story, really quick. So like that again, I'm sorry, keep repeating that same event, but Black Friday, my only one event. It was interesting because like I was trying to find the venue, and I had parked, and it was because if you go to MPW, there's like a bunch of other buildings that's right next to it, which a bunch of other stores and stuff like that. So I'm thinking like, where do I park? And like, there's a couple people with wrestling shirts there. I'm like, okay, so I'll go follow them.
Yeah.
So I go inside. There's an inside rock climbing wall gym inside. And then I'm like, is the wrestling ring going to be in here?
Yeah. Like,
so
it's
then
not
I
set
asked,
up yet, or what's going on?
yeah. So then I asked the employees, and they were really cool about it. They're like, hey, like, so I'm here for the wrestling event. Like, I don't know where this is. And they're like, oh, it's actually upstairs. Yeah. So then I go, and then, you know, of course I see the ring and everything. I'm like, wow, this is probably one of the coolest venues I've ever been.
It is hard to find at first because you're like, oh, this is a rock climbing building. I'm like, no, there's just go up this door right there. Just
No, it's interesting because like I had met a couple fans over there that were waiting because for some reason I had the mentality of like, okay, I got to be there an hour early, get my seat, yada yada. And then I go in, and then like I'm the only fan there, and then like everybody's still getting prepared. I'm like, okay, I feel like this is not right. So I had met a lady there, and I believe it was Robin Shaw's wife. I believe. I'm hoping I'm not inaccurate with that, so I apologize if you're watching. And I was like, hey, so like, is this the wrestling show? She's like, oh yes, you're here early. We're actually not opening our doors till like 15 minutes before the show starts. I'm like, that's good to know now. So it was really a really cool experience. I got to hang out with some fans in the like behind the door where the little stairs are at, and I'm like, okay,
like a little line that goes up the stairs.
Yeah, it was really an interesting experience, but I loved it overall. I loved the experience. So
I love it.
So one other thing I do want to mention is, you know, when it comes to Barbie Boi, a very open personality, very loving person. You know, and then really what I love is that, you know, especially on your social media, which I'm looking at right now, which you guys could follow at _Barbie_Boi, BOI on Instagram. You know, you're really just open with your audience as well. You know, of course, you have some posts promoting your upcoming matches and the introduction to who you are as a person. But I really love how like you also involve some of the, you know, the personal stuff, you know what I mean? Like getting to your fans to know who you are as a person. So how do you feel about, you know, your social media presence thus far?
You know, for a little bit, I was not good at it. I was never great at it. I didn't really know how to do it. I was kind of lazy. I was like, I don't know what to do here. I'll just post this and go for it. And then once I kind of realized, I was like, no, this should be way more fun. Then I was like, I'm just going to go for it and have a great time. Like let people in on the very personal stuff, but also on more of like the fun stuff. And I always do my fun movie reference videos. Like I just did a reference to Sharpay Evans from High School Musical. I did Fabulous. I've done a Legally Blonde reference. I've done Jennifer's Body. You see me pole dancing. You see a lot of fun stuff. But then I think the most personal stuff was when I talked about my husband, you know, and his battle with cancer. I didn't want to hide it. I hid it for a little bit, but then I was like, why? I want everyone to know what's going on. And just in case I was gone for a little bit, I don't want them to be like, oh, what happened? So I was like, I'm just going to post about it. And that was when I kind of was like, well, I'm just going to go. I'm only going to go for it and let people know what's going on.
Yeah, no, I mean it's awesome that you have the comfortability to be open with your audience and really have that connection too. And it's really just one of those things where it's like, you know, you really get to just, you know, connect with them, as I mentioned before. By the way, we're happy that your husband made it through that, and really
Thank
just,
you.
you know, everything is going well thus far.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, about 3 weeks ago, he is cancer free. So that was an amazing news. You know, we did that fundraiser show for him last October. So that was kind of great to see all the wrestlers come together for that. And that feels like so long ago now, where he hadn't even had his surgery yet, to like, take care of everything. And now it's almost time where he'll be done with everything and kind of back to square one. So it's just a crazy ride that wrestling can bring you on and how fast it kind of makes things go. So
yeah, I mean, it's like I said, congratulations on that. Shout out to him as well, your husband, for because cancer is a really serious thing as well. Because I remember my mom's friend, I'm hoping I'm not mistaking that, had some does cancer walks every year. Prior to the pandemic, I don't think we've had one thus far. Since then, raising funds for cancer research and all that. So shout out to you guys as well for doing that. So one other thing I do want to mention as well is just the fact that you have a great journey thus far, but you also have a great future. There's a lot of promotions we hope to see Barbie Boi at. One of those things I think would be a great fit for Barbie Boi is 3 letters, and that's GCW. There's a lot of great opportunities over there for Barbie Boi. I feel like, and I don't know about you, but I feel like a great match between Barbie Boi and someone from GCW. I think it would be a great one and a very entertaining one to watch. Has to be Alley Catch. Has to be.
That would be so much fun. I'm open to anything. I just want to wrestle and just have a good time and put on a great show for everybody. Wrestling is a lot. You don't have to be what people think, like what they expect you to be. I think wrestling has so many different personalities and types of wrestlers in there. So I'm so excited to be part of any show, to be honest with you. I would love to do that one day. That'd be amazing. I just want to put myself out there more and just wrestle and perform and have a great time. That's why we do what we do.
Oh yeah. Like you could definitely see you guys having fun out there. It's awesome to really hear your story and really just get that showcase out there. I guess since he just texted me right now and submitted the question, shout out to Justin of the Wrestling Classic for this question. What would you say in your wrestling career has been your highlight thus far, aside from being champion, of course?
My highlight, obviously besides the fans, meeting all these great people that love what we do, really support what we do in and outside the ring. I think it'd be the connections that I made with people, with wrestlers. The family that I made, the second family that I made in wrestling. It's a tough business to be part of, but the people that I've become family with, like I'll never forget it. If I had to stop wrestling right now, I know that these people I would still be friends with and like be talking to every day. Especially like the brothers, Busio and Dustin. I'm also very, very close with Johnny, Robbie, and Milo. Those girls are everything to me. They've been there with me since the beginning. Milo more recently. We're actually going to be debuting our team. We just debuted our team actually in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. It was Milo and Barbie. And we have some shows coming up in the next month or so. But being with her and the girls always meant a lot to me. Being with the girls, obviously I'm not a manly man. But being with the girls, I always felt like in a little safe space. So I love meeting the female wrestlers. I love Auntie Heidi. Pretty much everyone at MPW. Like I know if I had to stop wrestling right now, I could still go and talk to them like we're best friends.
Yeah,
and also,
I mean, it's
all the people at the Level Up locker room. I love all those boys. J2. I love like Jordan Cruz. I'm just like, I think my goal was to make friends with a lot of people. And I just want to be friends with everyone and have a good time because we put our bodies on the line every week. And like, no, this is like, I want to be friends. Like, I want this to be a very special connection that I have. So I think that's like my highlight is all the people that I've met and that I'm still friends with and still talk with like outside of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a lot of good names out there, especially from the Level Up thing as well with Jordan Cruz and a lot of guys out there that are and women and non-binary pals that are awesome. So it's awesome that you get to make those connections.
Yeah, there's so many more names I could have said too. There's so many people that I don't want anyone to feel excluded, but they're all my loves. They all know that I love them all so much. Like they know I'm very lovey-dovey, so I always get made fun of how lovey-dovey I am, but I don't care. They'll get over it.
Yeah. Well, Barbie Boy, I do appreciate you taking the time, telling your story, showcasing it, getting this great conversation. So thank you so much. But before we go, first off, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, I'm not great at that outro thing, but whatever. Make sure you guys do that. If you're physically watching or if you're on Apple Podcasts or whatever, go subscribe on there. Maybe go follow Barbie Boy while you're at it. Maybe that'd be awesome. Links will be down in the description below. But the final question I have for you, Barbie Boy, is that after pool parties, after everything that you have done thus far in your career and what you're going to do in the future, are you proud of your story? Are you proud of the person that is Barbie Boy?
Yeah, 100%. For a while I would say no. A lot. From the very beginning, I would have said, no, I'm not proud of this. I don't really know what I'm doing, or I'm not surrounding myself with the right people. But as of now, yes, I'm very proud of what I've been able to do and put out there and in and outside the ring with the fans and other wrestlers. I'm very proud of that. So I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm very excited for this year.